feel like there was something special about today that I was gonna say right at the front, but I can't remember. UK singer-songwriter Arlo Parks has returned for their second studio album, My Soft Machine. This album follows their 2021 debut and Mercury Prize-winning album, Collapsed in Sunbeams. I did not love that album, which had more of an R&B and indie folk sound to it. But My Soft Machine sees Arlo Parks taking their sound in a more indie pop oriented direction. And I do feel like compared to her first album, this indie pop sound does a much better job at complementing her soft vocal delivery. I enjoyed a lot of the early singles off of My Soft Machine, and so I was quite curious with how this album was going to turn out. Now, having listened to the whole thing, I have to say, my opinion on this album is a bit more mixed. The album begins with the spoken word track Bruiseless, which plays over this fast-paced beat and these soft synth sounds. The track sees Parks reflecting on childhood innocence. This theme continues into the first main track, Impurities. It is a very dreamy song that is drenched in reverb, with some interesting ambient sounds in the mix, almost like they're drips. Lyrically, it sees Parks coming to terms with their own faults, in having a partner who actually embraces them. In this sense, it is a very intimate song that is complemented by the very sparse production. This is followed by the incredible bass-driven track Devotion. This is a straightforward song about being devoted to someone, and in it, she references both the Deftones and Kim Deal, who was a member of the band The Pixies. As the song progresses, you get these heavy riffs. As Parks says about this song, she wanted to be a rock star for a day. And with how great this song sounds, she may have actually accomplished that. This is then followed up by the indie pop banger, Blades. The song sees Parks and her partner fighting, drifting apart as she is becoming more aware that her partner is actually all that she wants. The song is filled with these personal moments and reflections, and even though they are very specific to Parks herself and her specific relationships, they still do a great job of painting a very relatable picture of romance and wanting deeply to be with someone. Outside of this more intellectual picture, it is also just a super dancey and super catchy song. The next track, Purple Phase, feels more like her previous album, and it is possibly why I don't enjoy it that much. It feels really washed out with this almost jam band guitar thing happening. The lyrics seem to be about a friend struggling with addiction and Parks wanting to help them, but the song almost feels way too sensuous for that. The lead up to the chorus also feels way too poetic for the subject matter, in that it sucks all the life out of trying to help someone struggling. When you get lines like, I just want to see her iridescent, charming cats down from trees, muggler aviators hiding eyes that laugh when concealed. It's just a bit much for a song about addiction. However, we do get back to the catchy indie pop with the song Weightless. The production on this track is incredible, especially with these synthetic horns that pulsate during the chorus. The song is about wanting desperately for someone to love you back, and how Parks will continue to wait, even though she sort of knows that this is irrational. You can even see during the bridge, Parks getting hyper-analytical over a phone call, reading every noise and image for some kind of sign, as she's just desperate for a tiny morsel of returned affection. The music even invokes this kind of anxiety about whether or not this person will actually finally reciprocate. And in the end, I just love this song. It is, again, super catchy, super dancey, just beautiful. We then get the song Pegasus featuring Phoebe Bridgers. I did not immediately enjoy this song when it first came out, but it has grown on me. Musically, the song reminds me of the Postal Service, with the soft, glitchy synths and subdued dance beat. There is also this sample of someone yelling "ready," which kind of reminds me of a Pharrell Williams beat. The song is about being overwhelmed with how in love you are, and in the end, it is super cute, even if it isn't as deep. There is even a adorable line where Parks sings about calling her mom to tell her how happy she is. Sometimes you don't need anything that deep though. It can be just great having a song that is this soaked in the feeling of being in love. The song Dog Rose sees Parks singing over more of a dream pop and alternative rock track, similar to bands like Wild Nothing or Beach Fossils. And even though I love that sound of music, I just don't think it works all that well here. There are parts of the melody that are nice, but the chorus to me just falls flat and frankly is a little annoying. Both with the repetition of the lines "I wanna belong to ya," but also the heavily reverbed and distorted guitar loop that plays in the background. I do like the verses though, as they paint this sort of domestic image as Parks and the person they are into are beginning to settle into something good and homely. The song Puppy mixes it up a bit with a more grimy bass sound compared to the other dream pop tracks on this album. The song sees Parks trying to console a friend whose mother has died. This feeling of loss then has Parks reflecting on her own life and how her own experiences of pain are going to last forever. I enjoy this song, but I almost wish some of the grime was a bit grimier. There is a moment at the end of this song where this very dirty sounding guitar is shredding, and it's so deep in the mix that I feel like it loses some of its edge. And a song that is about this kind of reflection on loss can use a little bit more of a sting to it. The track I'm Sorry has this really smooth groove to it. The song is about finding it hard to just trust people, and personally, I don't feel it matches the tone of the music, which is again, really chill. I also find the lyrics here less interesting than some of the other songs on this album, since they are way more straightforward and lacking the kind of emotional intensity of some of the other tracks. This smooth sounding vibe continues with the next track, Room, Red Wings. Again, I feel like the lyrics of this song don't quite match the music, considering that this is more of a breakup song. The music, compared to the last track, does have a bit more sadness to it, but it feels more like listless moping than it does depression. Especially since Parks is singing here about being devastated. You almost want the music to match that intensity. The album then ends with the track Ghost, which has a similar chill vibe to the previous two tracks. There was also this weird bass sound that feels odd to me in the chorus, which kind of ruins the chill vibes of the rest of the song. Lyrically, we get another "I'm so deeply in love with you" song. It isn't that it is bad, it's just been done better on some of the other tracks on this album. This album had a pretty incredible start to it, but didn't really stick the landing, in my opinion. I really liked the lyrics on this album, as they are simultaneously hyper-specific to Parks, naming people who I don't particularly know, but they indirectly paint these more universal images that are in the end relatable even if I didn't experience them myself. But as the album progressed, some of this got a bit repetitive and stale. There could have been more development on these themes rather than continuous restatements of the same feelings. I also love the more pop-sounding songs on this album that I feel much better suits her voice compared to the slow guitar chill jam tracks. I do think there is enough decent material on this album that makes it a worthwhile listen, even though I didn't end up loving it. In the end, I would give this album a 6.5 out of 10. What did you think of this album? Did you love it? Did you hate it? Were you as meh about it as I was? What were your favorite tracks? You can let me know down below in the comment section. You can also like this video or subscribe to the channel. And yeah, I guess all I have to say to that is... Happy Pride.